When Karen and her HOA crew took over my private beach and threw a massive party on my land, I didn't yell. I didn't even call the cops. I smiled, because what they didn't know was that the entire area was under federal investigation, and their little party just became Exhibit A in a criminal case that might send their president straight to prison. Before we dive into this insane story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video, because you won't believe how karma hit this HOA harder than the ocean waves they danced beside. It started as a perfect morning along the coastal edge of Clearwater Bay, where the gulls screamed and the sunlight glimmered off the water like shards of gold. I owned 5 acres of beach property there, quiet, untouched, and legally protected since my late father left it to me. He'd worked 30 years as a Navy officer, and the beach was his piece of peace. I kept it that way. No fences, no clubs, no nonsense, just nature. Then came Karen, the new HOA president of a development that had recently cropped up inland half a mile away. You could smell her perfume before she knocked. She came striding up my boardwalk one afternoon, clipboard in hand, that artificial smile stretched tight. "Hi there! I'm Karen, the president of the Clearwater Bay Community Association. We're hosting a beach festival next month, and this part of the shoreline is included in our event space." I blinked. Included by who? Well, technically, the county map shows the beachfront as accessible, and since your property line runs up to the dunes, we're assuming. Don't assume. I cut her off. That land's private. You step 1 foot past those dunes with your crew, and it's trespassing. Her smile cracked, but she held it together. Well, that's not very community-minded of you. Community doesn't mean taking what's mine, I said, walking away. That should have been the end. But with Karen, it never is. Over the next 2 weeks, I noticed people walking down my sand. First a few joggers, then construction vehicles unloading stage parts, then music stands. My no trespassing signs were gone, torn out of the ground. Every night, I called the sheriff's department, filed reports, and nothing happened. "We'll look into it," they said. The HOA had deep pockets and local sway. On Saturday morning, I woke to bass, not seabirds, bass. When I walked over the dunes, I froze. There were tents, lights, coolers, fire pits, even a DJ booth set up near the surf. Hundreds of people laughing, drinking, swimming, all over my land. Karen stood in the middle, sunglasses on, drink in hand. When she saw me, she grinned like a cat who'd swallowed a canary. "Oh, you made it! I told you we'd make this beach beautiful again!" "Karen," I said slowly, "you're breaking about 12 property laws right now." She laughed. "Oh, please don't be dramatic. The HOA rented this land for the day." "From who?" "From the county," she said proudly. That's when I started recording everything. Every voice, every car plate, every face. Because I knew something she didn't, that this wasn't just my beach. The Federal Coastline Monitoring Agency had leased the outer perimeter for marine conservation research, meaning what they just trashed was protected federal property. And I had proof. By sunset, the beach looked like a war zone, beer bottles in the sand, tire tracks in the dunes, smoke still rising from fire pits. The HOA's festival had done over $70,000 in environmental damage by my estimate. Sea turtle nests were trampled. Water runoff was contaminated. It was destruction on a scale I'd never seen. I spent the night uploading every clip to a private drive, timestamped and tagged. Then I made a call, not to the sheriff, not to the HOA, but to my friend Mark, an investigator with the Environmental Protection Bureau. 2 days later, unmarked trucks rolled into Clearwater Bay. Men and women in federal jackets started collecting samples and photographing evidence. They traced permits, found fake event authorizations, and guess whose name was on the paperwork? Karen's OA president, Todd Myers. Turns out, Todd had been forging county signatures to greenlight community events across properties they didn't own. Why? Sponsorship kickbacks. Every fake permit earned him a cut from vendors and private donors. Karen, she wasn't innocent either. She'd recruited members to help secure the beach, and she'd personally filed noise permit requests using my address. When the agent showed me the documents, I laughed. "You're telling me they used my name to host a beach party?" Mark nodded. "And your signature. A bad fake, but enough to get them busted for forgery." That's when I knew what I had to do. Sit back and let karma finish the job. 3 days later, Karen and her board received subpoenas. Local news broke the story. HOA leaders under federal investigation for coastal damage, forgery, and fraud. The town went wild. OA residents turned on them overnight. Karen's smug smile disappeared from every social event. But the real show came when Todd tried to play smart, hiring lawyers, blaming Karen, and pretending ignorance. Too bad for him, I had something he didn't know I had: the footage. Not the clips I'd sent to Mark, the raw recordings. The ones where Todd himself stood beside the DJ booth saying, "We'll own this beach now." It was all there, time-stamped, geotagged, and crystal clear. I sat in the back of the courtroom during the hearing, arms folded. Karen avoided my gaze, dressed in beige like she'd faded into the walls. Todd tried to charm the judge, talking about community, spirit, and misunderstandings. Then Mark took the stand, playing the video. Todd's voice echoed through the speakers. "No one's gonna stop us. This land's free for us now. I signed the permits myself." The courtroom fell silent. Karen buried her face in her hands. The verdict came quick. Todd, charged with forgery, fraud, and property damage. Karen, fined and sentenced to community service for aiding illegal activity. The HOA, stripped of its funding and disbanded within a month. And me, I got a public apology, full restoration of my property by order of the county, and permanent immunity against HOA interference for all time. A month later, I stood on my beach again, quiet, golden, mine. I watched the tide wash over the last traces of their chaos and smiled. The best revenge isn't rage, it's silence. Watching the people who wronged you bury themselves while you don't lift a finger. So when you see a Karen trying to take what isn't hers, remember, evidence and patience beat anger every single time. And that's how my beach stayed mine, while their president learned that sometimes the ocean isn't the only thing that swallows people whole. Now, before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video for more insane real life justice stories. Because on TWI Steely Dime Tell Us, we don't just tell stories, we show how karma works in high definition.